Well, first of all, thank you again. I really appreciate it. And
thank you.
I wanted to see if, just to begin with, if you recall the first time you acted, even just for fun, what that might have involved, and then also just as part two, what led to that first opportunity to do it professionally, which I guess was for Harry Potter, but was, how did that come about even?
I'm like trying to think back with the earliest time I started performing. I think I did a play called The Prince and the Swallow. And it was a school play, and I got to wear this little red bandana necktie, and I had these like dark eyes as the swallow, and I got to sing, and I had to move around the stage like a bird, and like I don't even know. But that was my first. And then when I was at the same school as I did that performance, when the Harry Potter auditioners came and said, do you have any kids that between the age of 9 and 12, 13 that you would want to put forward to audition for Harry Potter? And my drama teacher, put a group of 12 or 13 of us forward, and just in our school gym, we did some drama exercises, I guess, and they took my photograph, and they got a phone call asking me to come to London 3 weeks later.
Wow.
And then I just went on this roller coaster of, I ended up doing, they said they knew they wanted me after 2 or 3 auditions, and I did 9.
Oh my God.
Because they needed to it wasn't just about finding the right person for each character, it was about making sure that the 3 of us looked right together and that we had the right chemistry and whatever else. So it was a real journey, and when they actually told me I had the part, I couldn't really process it. I couldn't really believe it, because it had been such a long... So when something's such a long time coming, I just was almost like numb. I kind of like numbed myself out to the whole thing. So, that was crazy. And
when you were doing those auditions, did you reach the same conclusions that they did about who, that you paired best with, the same ones that they...
Yeah, I think so. When I auditioned with Rupert and Dan, something just kind of felt right. So yeah, I think I was on their wavelength. But they found Dan very late in the process. I auditioned with other Harrys. So yeah, they found Dan.
And just one last thing about that. I mean, going in, did you appreciate the magnitude of the project? Had you read the books?
Honestly, I'm still appreciating the magnitude. Like every day, I'm still trying to get used to what my life is like now that this thing happened. I mean, every day. That honestly, there's a day that goes by that there isn't something about my day that's a little bit abnormal or weird, that I'm just like, wow, this thing really had some impact, huh? So yeah, I mean, it's been unbelievable, really. I have to pinch myself sometimes, but yeah.
It seems like one of the really sort of positive things that might have come out of that experience was the opportunity to work with such a variety of directors, and also basically every great older British actor that there is. No,
it's funny. I mean, I say that there are positives and there are minuses about my experience. The positives... Actually, let's start with the minuses first. Let's go bad and then good. So the bad is that, I mean, what most actors and actresses do behind like closed doors, kind of like slowly but surely figuring themselves out, making mistakes, getting better, all that stuff I did with the world watching. Which was like, it makes you very afraid of being bold, of being brave, of really going for it, of putting yourself out there, because suddenly I had this awareness, like age 12 or 13, I was like, oh my god, the whole world is going to see this performance, and like it's a lot of pressure, so you're constantly fighting the fear factor. But then, of course, the pluses are that now, honestly, every movie set I go on, I walk onto set with the confidence that there is nothing they can throw at me that's going to surprise me. I mean, I have done scenes with animals, with owls, with bats, with cats, with special effects, with thespians, with in the freezing cold, in the pouring rain, boiling hot, I've done press with every syndication, every country. I've done interviews with, like, people dressed up as cows. There's nothing, there's honestly nothing that's going to intimidate,
surprise you, yeah.
And that's a nice feeling to walk on somewhere with, which is that,
surprise me.
Just try. Right. Go on. So that feels good. So it's been good and bad. It's been good and bad.
Just to sort of tie in with, in Perks of Being a Wallflower, we're talking about certainly one character and really a few characters that are almost not noticed, really.
Yeah.
For you, I wonder if it's sort of the opposite issue, that it's hard, obviously, to go about your life without sort of standing out, even if you would like to. Is it sort of worth the rewards that have come with the success of Harry Potter and your career in general? Is it worth the price that you've had to pay for, losing your anonymity, basically?
I mean, it's really interesting that you kind of understand that, because I sometimes feel like it's difficult for people to relate to me until they spend like a day with me, and like until they walk around with me in public, and then they're like, oh, this affects you every day of your life. And I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, I have to be a lot more calculating because I'm a very private person, and because I actually really struggle with the attention. I'm generally a pretty shy kind of a person, so it's like, it's tough figuring out how to manage it. But there are ways of managing it, and you have to be smart. And I just try and surround myself for the biggest proportion of time that I can with people who make me feel normal. Mm-hmm. Because constantly feeling abnormal is quite difficult. Like having people don't really understand, but having people stare and point and take pictures, even if it is in a positive framework, it's isolating. There's no two ways about it. You feel a little bit freakish. So
knowing now what you know, if you were to be able to go back and potentially become a hairdresser or something, would you still choose to pursue the path that you've pursued?
I as a person, I have a belief system, which is that everything happens for a reason, and that I'm like taking this journey because it was my journey, and this is where I was meant to be, and I don't really believe in like having regrets. It's just not really in my mindset that, oh, if you could have done it differently, would you? It's like, that doesn't even occur to me. I'm here, and this is where I am, and I'm living it.
Yeah, and
you only got one life.
Yeah, right. And I think it seems you're making the best of it. Certainly, and you were saying to surround yourself with people. You have a nice friend here. I just met.
Yeah, did you meet Amy? Yeah, good chat with Amy. Yeah,
right.
She's awesome. No, I have really, really great friends, and that's probably the only reason that I have any small degree of sanity, if I do. And I just keep them around me as much as I can, because
Well, one of the other, I would imagine, sort of great things that you probably weren't able to appreciate until after Harry Potter that experience gave you is now you really do carry a lot of clout in this industry. And so, from what I understand, this particular movie, Perks of Being a Wallflower, would not be without you.
Well, I mean, the movie has some difficult and pretty much taboo issues in it. Like, no one wants to make a movie that has, they hear the word, child sexual abuse, and they're like, oh, we are not going there, like, that's not for us, like, thank you very much, but we're not interested. And so when I read the script, it felt like, well, of course someone's gonna want to make this movie. And then my agent told me, they're like, we just don't, no one really wants to, like, no one really wants to fund it. I'm like, not with me and with Logan and no, they're not in. So I flew myself to LA, and I sat down with everyone, with Disney, with Paramount, with everyone, and they were like, what movie you want to make? I was like, I really want to make this movie, Perks of Being a Wallflower. And Summit were the ones who were like, all right, we're in, we're going to go for it. So it was really nice for me to see that I could change the course of things slightly. I mean, that's certainly one of the perks of having done Harry Potter. I was like,
the perks of being a Wallflower.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was awesome. And I honestly think the world would be a better place if there were more people like Charlie, and that's so great that I've had a small part in that. So,
and also that and the fact that there will be people. I know there have already been people that read the book that it changed their lives. There may very well be people that see this movie.
For sure, I really think that, and if I made one person feel a little bit less alone for a second, then it was all worth it. For sure.
So, with that, you know, you mentioned coming out here to talk about, you know, doing this project with the studios, and I imagine there was a lot of thought that probably went into what's the first starring role going to be after Potter, because in a way that's going to set the tone for, you know, the way your career goes for the next chapter or whatever. And I mean, I'm aware of My Week with Marilyn. I enjoyed that. That was great.
Thank you very much.
But this was like this was your movie, this one, and I just wonder, what were some of the considerations that go into, you know, what do you do first thing after Harry Potter?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's still a supporting role. I mean, it's interesting. In the book, you know, Sam, the way Sam is built up as a character is very much through Sam, who is the protagonist's perspective. So this was never going to be like a breakout role for me. I was always here to support, as a supporting thing. As a journalist, there's something really interesting to me the other day. They said, do you only take on, you know, supporting or small roles in movies because you don't think that you're good enough, basically, to do a movie on your own? And I was like, that is a really bizarre question to me, because I mean, this is maybe just the way I'm pursuing my career, which is that I pick movies, not roles. Mm-hmm. And like, Sam is a great role, but as a movie, it's such a great movie, and like, I wanted to be a part of it. And with My Week with Marilyn, I was like, this is going to be killer. Mm-hmm. Michelle Williams is amazing. Mm-hmm. Eddie Redmayne is great. Kenneth Branagh is awesome. Like, I want to be, even though it's a tiny role, like, I want to be a part of that. Mm-hmm. And so that was just really strange to me. But yeah, I mean, coming out of Potter, I was studying at Brown, and I didn't really want to work, and it was really just about waiting for something that just really spoke to me. And there was no strategy. There was no, like, if you had told me that the first movie I was going to do coming out of Harry Potter was an American high school movie, I would have laughed at you. Right. I would have gone, yeah, no.
It's about as far from your experience as...
Yeah, no, I was like, that's not what I want to do. I didn't think I was going to do high school movies, period. Mm-hmm. I wanted to, like, you know, do something. But then I read the script, and it totally blew me away. And that's how it happens. There's no, like, I'm going to play this person next. You just, in this industry, you just can't do that. Right. You have to, well, I think you have to pick the movie, and you have to pick the thing that comes along at the right moment, at the right time, with the right cast. And for me, that was Logan being cast as Charlie, that was Steve directing it, and it was that script, and done deal. I'm in, you know.
Wow. So in terms of story, scale, every which way, it couldn't be more different than what you're coming off all these years of doing, right? This is a relatively tiny movie compared to that.
Yeah.
At the same time, it is, you know, when you stop and think, isn't it kind of funny?
It was hilarious for me. I was like, you can make a movie for, like, less than $100 million? Are you kidding me? Like, the budget that we had for Perks, I was like, that's like... I couldn't even... And they were like, we're going to film it in 6 weeks. I was like, you can make a movie in 6 weeks? When we did Harry Potter in, like, 7 months. This was like talking another language to me. It was just another world. And then, of course, doing the American accent and doing the American high school thing, which I have zero personal experience of. I turned up like a quivering, anxious, nervous wreck about doing this movie. I was so nervous. I was like, I have no personal experience to draw on. I have no idea if I can do this American accent. Like, I've never done a movie this small before. Like, I was really, you know, I was really nervous. I was like, what am I doing? Why did I agree to do this? And then immediately, Steve just really, I don't know why, he really believes in me, and he's like a Charlie. He's like Charlie is to Sam. He just totally, 100% believes in me, and he gave me the confidence and the faith in myself that I could pull it off. And that was so awesome. And it just gave me permission to do something different and show a different side of myself, which was just so liberating and exciting. And I'm so proud to have been a part of it. And Logan's so great in it as Charlie. He's heartbreaking, and Ezra's like the coolest, funniest guy ever. So it was great to learn from them, and I think it just took me another step closer to, you know, just maybe that little bit better.
Last question, two-part. Did it kind of occur to you just as a fun, sort of amusing parallel that, again, it's two males and a female classmate? And then the more serious part is just I heard you guys really did hit it off. I've heard about octopus jam and certain other things. Was that? Can you enlighten us about that?
I mean, I have to defend people who've been like, she's in another movie with 2 other guys.
But why is that a bad thing?
She's always in trios.
That's not a bad thing.
But I mean, to be fair, I did mine with Marilyn.
Right.
Nothing to do with trios. I just did the Bling Ring, which is all about a group of girls. I'm doing Noah, which is about a whole family, and like. I did The End of the World, nothing to do with a trio. So I've done maybe like 4 or 5 other movies now that don't have a trio, but obviously Harry Potter's the one that really sticks out, so immediately people draw that comparison. But just like, what I would say is like, go and see this movie. It's nothing like Harry Potter. Like, it could not be more different from Harry Potter, so that makes me laugh a bit. I'm like, you're in for a shock.
Right.
If you think you're going into anything that has any resemblance. And then to answer your second question, we had an awesome time. We turned the ground floor of the Crown Plaza into like a hippie commune. I was deliriously exhausted by the end of this movie. I slept on average maybe like 4 hours a night because we just stayed up all night playing music and talking and just having a good time, really. So we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great.
We had a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for this, and congratulations. It was I really enjoyed it. So.
Good, thank you.